Just make the chat bigger like that. It's okay. We'll look at it later.
Why don't you just mirror it?
We are. Yeah, yeah.
That's good. We can read that good.
Yeah.
I can read that good.
All right, we're live.
Oh! Whoa. Bam, right to it today. Right to it.
No lead in.
Rock and roll,
Nothing.
baby.
Straight in.
We don't need a lead in.
I don't feel like I do. No opener here.
We're
Just
seasoned.
us.
We're seasoned.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
You're like Tom Hanks, and I'm like Private Ryan
In Castaway.
in
That's
Castaway.
me. Tom Hanks in Castaway.
And then I'm just
Wilson!
Private Ryan
Yeah.
on the island with you. Like,
Just
what-
alone. You're a
is
figment
going
of
on?
my imagination.
What is FedEx?
You're actually a volleyball. A bloody volleyball. That's all you are. Very strange. How's everyone doing?
Hello from Ireland. Hello from Montreal.
All the folks are here. Everyone's coming in.
Hello, hello, hello. Hello, Uncle Left Eye.
Hello, hello. We've had a busy week.
It's been a busy
We've
week.
done a lot of things, played a lot of music, done some new demos, sort of styles. We saw Dune 2 last night, which we'll try not to talk about too much.
Man,
Sean has had his mind expanded into the universe of Dune. He didn't know what was there.
I drank the poison.
I had to fill him in on all the missing context.
What do they call it? The piss of the worm?
Piss
I
of
drank
the worm.
piss of the worm.
It's fine. It's fine.
Sean is Dr. Spalding.
Dr. Spalding. I like it. I like that. We got some Apex, North Carolina in here.
Don't forget
You
it.
should for sure come visit the store. The store is much different than it was in 2016. You'd probably be surprised. The mighty Woodrow is joining us. Our pal Jeremy, my twin.
It's a good man. It's a good man right
So
there.
yeah, he is. What are we talking about today, Sean? Let's jump into it. We had a good
We did. Some fever. Some Stratocaster fever is what we're talking about. And there's lots of reasons for this. Like you know, the Dead Spec came in. He did that demo. After that, we also played Strats all night long. Did you notice that? Like primarily, like I swapped to a
I
Gibson
did.
for a
I
minute,
did.
and I was like, wasn't the same.
I've been playing. I don't know what happened to me. I don't know. My Strat. I feel like my Strat is very. Funny thing about Strats, maybe in general.
Yeah.
I'll go through these things where I'm like, my Strat is like, eh. And then one day I'll pick it up and it's like, my God, this is the greatest guitar. My Strat's amazing.
I know exactly.
And then it's for like a month. It's amazing.
Yes.
And I don't know if it's just. I'm sure it's just me getting like kind of bored. But
I have no clue why it happens. It happens to me as well. Like I'll pick up a Strat, and like my Strat specifically, you know how many times I've done this.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna trade it for something, and then like I play.
I'm
it,
switching the
and I'm
pick
like,
guard.
Yeah.
I'm trading it in.
Yeah. Then it's like, oh no, it's great.
Well,
It comes back
you
around.
actually played one the other night that you were thinking about
Yes.
trading yours for. Where'd you land on that?
Well, I picked up mine and I played it, and I was like, this is still a great guitar.
I don't-
It's like
yeah.
you just I almost have to get the fever again to
Well-
play a Strat, and then it comes back around.
This is an interesting point, and I saw this post the other day. This guy was selling a vintage deluxe reverb, and he said he was on his YOLO tour of like owning all the great amps. And he's like, I'm sure I'll regret having got rid of this one day. He's like, it's amazing. He's like, I just, he was trying to like own at different points all the great amps that he wanted to own, right?
Yeah.
And so like, I think you have to like, there's been times in my life where I would maybe get rid of a great guitar because I wanted another great guitar. I think right now though, it's like I don't want to get rid of any of my great guitars. I'd like to have the other guitars, and I'm fine if it takes
Yeah.
a long time.
That's I get that completely, especially like I feel like we've had an uptick in like some of the vintage instruments we've been able to play in the last probably year or so.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, okay, I think it's cool to wait out for that one special.
Going
one.
hard into that. This is a great question. Let's answer this. Mayor McChee says, Fender dealer event, then I saw this somewhere else too. Went from super heavy relic last year to closet classic this year. Is the relic phase dying? I always have said, I tell people in the shop all the time, I think the custom shop goes through phases. It'll be like fat necks, like stupid, super chunky necks years ago. Then all of a sudden everything was a 67 C, like a thin neck, And so I think the same thing happens with the finishes. And I think they just make 1,000,000 heavy relics, and then all of a sudden you see a closet classic, and everybody's like, "Ooh, that is nice."
Well,
so yes is the short answer, but it'll come back around.
I completely agree, and I think the same thing with like there used to be like compound radiuses were all the rage. Roasted necks. I remember roasted necks being a big phase.
Right.
And then Usually, as it comes back around, I feel like they make some tweaks and modifications, and they kind of spice it up a little bit, you know, which is cool.
Let's see. What is a deluxe closet classic? How's it different from a closet classic? Deluxe kind of splits the difference a little bit between closet classic and journeyman. Yeah. So like maybe a little checking, you know, like it's probably a little closer to closet classic. It's just like closet classic plus
a little edge.
A little, you know.
And it's really cool. We just got a 54 in that I believe a gentleman bought yesterday in the deluxe closet classic. I was taking some quick photos for him of it. It just literally just came in this week, and the checking on it was phenomenal. Like it was like cracked up, but that was it. Like it was basically untouched, unscathed. Really cool. I liked it. I was like, that's impressive.
And a price says Silverburst seems to be huge. I have never liked Silverburst. I just don't like it. I'm sorry. I apologize to everyone listening, but I don't. I'm just not. I'm not a.
Like, I
just don't like it.
Is it tainted for you from like living through the '90s and seeing that resurgence of that, or is it tainted for you just because you never liked it to begin with? I don't think I ever liked it to begin with.
I just don't think I ever liked it to begin with. But there's something about Gibsons in particular where I just like the classic. I just like really classic look, and to me that's not it. You know, like I like the customs. They're like the black or like the white with the binding. You know, I love that, but I just don't like the Silverburst.
Well, in defense of that choice as well, I don't really like the dark red cherry burst into like, you know, just sort of an orange. I like it to be kind of like a little bit of red to yellow, you know?
Yeah.
Where it kind of looks like it might fade out. The red might fade out completely. I like that.
Let's see. Favorite non-Gibson hollow or semi-hollow? I mean, I am a sucker for Gretsch's. I think that if you wanted like a 335 sort of thing that's a little different but is awesome, that Fortis Falcon, the Richard. And I don't always love signature models. Man, those are killer guitars though. Like if I didn't have a good 335, I would really think about one.
Well, for me, in a weird way, I think it would be one of those PRS 594 hollow bodies.
I can see that.
I just really like those.
right, are we back, boys?
Oh,
I think
are
we're
we?
back.
Look at us. Dang it. I was typing comments.
How was Dune 2? I want to say, first-hand account, Jonathan led me into that movie with all the proper knowledge, and he gave it to me probably within like 10 minutes or less. I would say I had everything I needed within 5, and then we were just talking back and forth from there.
That's true.
I think, this might be a little spicy. I know some people hate it when we get off topic, but
However,
I wouldn't mind if Jonathan did a Dune review. Or, you have so much like you have, I would say, maybe not as much knowledge as you do on guitar stuff, but pretty close on Dune.
if
Like,
only I was that wise about real life.
you don't have to be. You know everything there is to know about the planet Dune.
Arrakis, my God.
So, see? Look.
Dune was fun. I enjoyed Dune. I'm still processing it all. Some slight changes I don't know how I feel about. I don't want to spoil anything. They changed the timeline a bit, which is fine.
Darth Vader shows up.
But it's weird. It's great when Paul fights Darth Vader. That'd be great if they just had lightsabers in Dune, but they made the movie like that and never mentioned.
Never talked about where it came from. Nothing.
Or no one ever mentions who read the book that there's no lightsabers in Dune. I would enjoy that a lot, actually. But anyways.
Yep.
So we're back. Cables. Cables are very
A
important.
lot of cable talk.
Do you like Mogami cables? I swore off Monster cables forever ago because they stopped being good about their their service, and everyone I've ever had like the return thing. And they all mine sort of died. I don't know.
I like the runway audio cables. Those are cool. We got those. I'll tell you the cables that I really do like are those Planet Wave cables, and I don't know
They're
why.
good, man. I have this old Planet Waves. It was like the American something.
Yeah.
They got the coolest little ends, and I like those, the little connectors.
They're just good. Like I was like, damn. Like I played that thing. I was like, oh, it's nice.
Rattlesnake seems cool, but I've never actually messed with them. I know Mike likes that. Our friend Tom Tuga likes them, but I like. We had those runway audio cables for a while. Those are really cool. I've got a bunch of those that I bought when we had them, and they sound really good, and they seem to work. And I don't know. I can agree with that. The Monster cables. It was like they made them so fat for no real reason. Remember, you could buy the Monster cable bass, and then the one for electric guitar and acoustic guitar. And I'm like, I don't know. It seems kind of snake oil, maybe. But anyways, but runway audio was very cool. They seem to be like the Rattlesnake.
When I've yet to have one of those break on me.
Me either.
I'm pretty good with a cable. Like I'll keep a cable.
Me too.
The green cable that I use that's frayed at the one end. I've had that for 3 years now.
Yeah.
Played it on all my gigs. Yeah. It's a great cable.
Oh, James White says, I don't like the sounds of the changes. I'm assuming he's talking about Dune. Haven't seen it yet. You should still watch it. Like, if you read all the books and stuff, it's not that atrocious.
Well, visually, I'll say even if
it's a great movie visually. Yeah.
Like,
I mean, it really is.
Yeah.
Go see it in the theater, though. I'm glad we went to the theater to see it. Yeah. Like, on the big screen and the sound system.
Yes,
God, the sound was amazing.
You hear things like behind you.
Yeah, dude.
It was really cool.
It was wild. It was really cool.
And it would come up. It's pretty neat.
Yeah.
Surround sound, baby.
Andrew Knox brings up a good point. Hosa cables are good and simple. Man, I don't know if I've ever had a Hosa cable die. Like, they're cheap, you know what I mean? But I've had the little patch cables that I get in a pinch and just like, oh, these just old Hosa cables. But man, I mean,
anytime.
I can't go wrong.
Anytime I need a weird cable, like all my MIDI cables, all my headphone extender cables, Hosa. Every time. Just because they work, they're really cheap. And if it does ever break, and I've never had one break, trash.
Jeez.
Do it just for, we did.
I mean.
We did.
Sadly, they were sold out. It's fine. All right. Back to Strats.
That's right.
I'll be Baxter today and keep us on topic.
I like
You're
it.
like, what? That's just on topic. Back to the Stratocasters. I thought it was more interesting. Like, obviously, I mean, I've always said sort of had a love-hate relationship with Strats.
Yeah.
Not hate. Hate's the wrong word. Love to, like, neutral.
Well.
But then I went years and didn't have a Strat.
When was your first Strat? Was that the first
guitar?
guitar?
My first guitar.
Okay.
Not my first electric. It was my first guitar. It was a Squier Strat that I paid $300 for when I was 16 years old. So
cool.
That was my first Strat.
Baller. My first electric guitar was a Strat.
Yeah.
For me, I don't know. I was just always like drawn to that as a thing. I got a Jazzmaster right after that. Like I had that one for about a year.
Oh, yeah,
and I
yeah,
got a Jazzmaster. And the Jazzmaster was cool, but I found myself kind of, still always lusting for a Strat. Like I wanted an Olympic white Strat. And that's how I ended up.
I do think that is iconic, but I fell in love with Telecasters. What's up, William Robinson? I had got to call you about coming to DMAX and playing. That is on my list of things to do, but I'm often scatterbrained. I'm so sorry, but we're gonna work that out. I'm gonna come to Orange Beach and New Orleans, and that's gonna be fun.
Yes. I'm gonna put together a new group for it. It'll be fun.
Heck yeah.
Go down there. I think we just get wasted on Bourbon Street. Go around the French Quarter.
Seems like the right thing to do.
Puke up her guts.
Yes. But anyways, but yeah, no, I got into Tellies.
Yeah.
I always had Strats around, and then I don't know. But when I got finally got the custom shop Strat.
Yeah.
That's the only one I've ever loved probably. I don't think the Silver Sky is really my thing. They're good guitars. The dead spec is cool. I could see wanting a hardtail Strat. Like if I could buy a maple necked like hardtail custom shop.
We've had a couple come through. That blue one and the sunburst one. Those things were amazing. Like phenomenal.
Yeah.
Sean won't last long on Bourbon Street. You're probably right.
No. Lexington Daniel says Strats are home for him. Just picked up the custom shop 66. That's really cool. From Manchester Music Mill yesterday. And he's jonesing for the new Antigua hardtail. Yeah, I just think a hardtail would be awesome.
I kind of want something that's Antigua as well. Like, I don't know what it is about the color, but it's kind of like growing on me.
I'm kind of there with the silver burst. I don't hate it, but I just,
You wouldn't go, like, you wouldn't run out and grab one right now.
Mary Cheese says, I feel like other than Clapton, most people who go from Strat to LP never go back. That is kind of true. I do feel like I've gone into humbuckers a bit with the 335. And I just kind of love that, which that makes me want an SG or well, maybe Les Paul. But
every gig that I feel like I see you on, you bring your guitar, your three hanger stand, and you always have 335 Strat Telly. You kind of take the Gretsch out by itself,
Yeah.
So in my mind, I'm like, all three of those guitars, I feel like get almost the same amount of attention.
Pretty
That's
close.
Just for me.
Pretty close.
And what I see,
Pretty close.
Which is cool.
Yeah. Which Gibson pickups do you prefer for heavy rock and metal, Sean? I don't really know.
I don't really know either. I'm not
a metal guy. You know what I mean? It's not. I don't not like metal. I just I've never been a metal player.
Well.
And so
I don't
feel like I have a good answer for that. Sadly.
Like. I don't feel like I do either. I tell you the pickup that I like, and it's not for the reasons that they were made. Those Fishman Fluence pickups are dope. The reason why I say that, there's an amount of clarity to those pickups. Like I can do volume swells and stuff like that with them that they just sound phenomenal.
There's something different, right? P90s and LP, I agree. Mary McCheese are very underrated.
Absolutely.
But when we were talking about Strats, we started talking about Fender amps.
Yes, that's right. And you surprised me when we started talking about it. I want to hold the conversation for the live stream. So run down the list of the amps that you've owned, like Fender amps that you've owned and played live and done a lot with, because there's a surprising answer in here that I was like, what the hell? Okay, so I started the first nice amp I ever had, or like real amp, like tube amp, was a Hot Rod DeVille, the 410. Sick. I had a 59 Basement reissue, like the lacquer tweed one, forever. I used a lot. Then I've had a deluxe reverb. I had that horrible. I shouldn't say horrible. It was okay. It just needed some things. It was that Fender came out at one point with this Vibrolux custom with these cream knobs on it, and it was nothing like an actual Vibrolux. If you know about Fender amps, you'll know what I'm talking about. Like the 68 or a completely different thing?
Totally different thing. It was a totally different thing. It was called a Vibrolux, but yeah, it just had this horrible noise floor. And apparently, if you got them modded, they were great. And it did have some good sounds, but it had a lot of irritating things. I had that for a little while. I had a 70s Super Reverb that I did really love. I had a 64 Tremolux head that I had converted into a 112 combo. That was a cool amp. I'd like to have that amp back, honestly. I also had a 67 Bandmaster head. That was a really good amp. think maybe that's it but I've never, and some of those amps I had a long time. Like I had the Basement a long time. I had both those heads a long time. I had the Super Reverb for long-ish. I wish I had kept it longer. I wish I still had it too. But anyways, I've never owned a Princeton. I've never owned a Twin.
The one that surprises me is the Princeton. Okay, because I went for the Twin first, and then as I played through all the amps, and this is gonna kind of head up to something bigger too. I think a question for both of us right now in the space that we're playing in. But I played Princeton's, and now I'm like, damn, Princeton's where it's at, dude. Like hardcore, and like especially from being able to turn it up, like a utilitarian standpoint, a sound standpoint. I really love the sound of cranked up Princeton.
I mean, I did too, right? I love Princeton's now. I think when I was mostly buying those amps and gigging, I was in mostly loud situations.
Yeah,
I could be louder. I was always worried about the headroom in Princeton's because I had a lot of issues, especially like on Downtown Broadway back then. They let us baffle our amps, man, and you could just hear it, over the drummer, right? And so like I always kind of thought maybe a Princeton wouldn't be. I mean, it like absolutely would have been enough, right? Yeah. Like it would have been fine, probably. But I just always was a deluxe. I like deluxe reverbs. You know what I mean?
So right now our dilemma is I only have my Twin as like my Fender amp, right? I want to get something smaller, and I'm torn between a couple options. But I know we were talking the other night while we were doing a little jam session, and you said, you're like, it's kind of a shame that you don't own a Fender amp right now.
I don't own a Fender amp right now. No, I have awesome amps, right? I'm ashamed to even say, because I got an M80, I got a Twilighter, I got the old Mike Campbell Magnetone from the 60s. So I've got Magnetone fever a little bit. I got a Super O Amulet. All cool amps, right? But none of them really do exactly the like Fender thing. I would think I would like to have a Super Reverb right now. In fact, I almost toyed with selling my Twilighter and getting this old Super Reverb that we have. But I would still like to have the Super Reverb. I don't think I can get rid of my Twilighter. But at some point, I mean, I don't know. The
Super Reverb, in my head, I've always thought of the Super Reverb as like this mad scientist machine of 4 Princetons stacked on each other. And like it does something magical, I do
think there's something magical about 410s.
Yes.
Somebody just said speakers are more important than the power supply. Speakers are very important. Absolutely. Like I agree with that. Speakers are like a huge part of the equation. Like they'll totally change an amp, man. If you got an amp you hate, sometimes try new speakers. I mean, after if it doesn't need tubes or something like that. But speakers are cool. But I don't know. My problem is there's like 15 amps I want.
Oh yeah.
I want that. God.
We could justify owning one of every Fender amp. With the like, if you and I went out and started hunting for like every Fender amp, we could be like, well, we need this one because.
Well, I think I'd be happy with a Princeton or a Deluxe and a Super Reverb. I'd like, there's Marshall stuff I want. I kind of want the new baby M80. I do. God,
you want a basement.
Darn you, Sean. I do want a basement.
You see what I'm doing? You see, like, and we can keep going because here's the thing: you get a Princeton, you can get a blackface Princeton, and I think the silverface Princeton has more of a rock and roll sound when it's cranked up, and it's like.
And then part of me wants like an old blonde basement or like some of the like brown face stuff. Like what was the one that Chris Buck played? He went to play the concert. It's like the brown face. It's like the it was a concert. It's like the precursor to a Super Reverb, but it's got the crazy harmonic trim, not reverb. We played one of those. What was last year or 2 years ago? At the Asheville Guitar Show, which is coming up this weekend.
I think it was last year. It was the same year that they had that Vox there.
Baxter was so close to buying it. It was like we went back and forth. Then the volume police kind of got onto him. He's like,
man.
Shut it down. And he's like,
You're right. I didn't want to hear this thing.
If I'm going to spend all this money on the amp, I'd really like to only hear it on 2. But yeah, whatever. I understand. I understand how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, that's my issue. Is like because I know, so I'm between getting just a regular old Fender reissue Princeton, either the 65 or the 68, or
which sounds great.
They sound phenomenal.
Great, you know,
phenomenal.
The only question there is, and this is kind of the question I think people have with like all the crazy like faux drama about the Gibson amps, the new ones.
Yeah.
How long will they last? Right? I don't know.
I mean, well, like I've said, and whenever we talked about that before, my twin. Like I feel like I could shoot that thing with a shotgun, and it doesn't matter. Like
I see ones that die really
on.
quick, or like start to have little issues like rattles. But then I see some that have been around forever. You know, like Baxter's got reissues that have been around forever.
Yeah.
And I got a huge soft spot for the 68 Customs. And I remember when they came out, and like Joe Bonamassa was like, "Man, these are the best sounding amps Fender's made in a long time." Which I had one of those, a deluxe reverb 68 Custom. And that was a killer. I mean, that was a great amp, man.
Basement
a Les Paul into that,
where you can tap the channels
God,
like that.
It was like all you needed. You need pedals.
I mean, those are really good too.
Yeah.
And that's once again, like I almost would want to have the silver face and the black face. And you know, some vintage stuff is cool too. I don't know. Like we got a vintage Vibrolux over here that I could eat that thing for breakfast every morning, dude.
We got two vintage super reverbs. One is not for sale, but one is. Both of those things, dude. Bulk Hogan, I love that his name is Bulk Hogan. My child was Hulk Hogan for this.
I like that his photo is also Hulk Hogan.
I know.
That's great.
But you guys getting any girl headphones? We are not a Gibson headphone dealer. So no is the answer to that. I wish that we were. I know one of my students ordered one, so when he gets it, maybe he'll let us do a video. But I'm kind of interested to see one of those.
I'm too. Especially like I'm a huge Foo Fighters Dave Grohl guy.
And play him through we watched this connects to our Fender amp talk. We watched Fender put out this advertisement, and hell yeah, brother. Oh yeah. I just gotta love Hulk Hogan and the Macho Man. But anyways, they put out this commercial, Instagram ad. Mm-hmm. And it's like all these people. It's for the whatever anniversary of the 54 Strat.
Yeah, 70th anniversary. Right?
And they're all playing Voodoo Child, but that's cool or whatever. What you know. But there's this semicircle of amazing Fender amps behind them,
like on a hill,
like real amps, and you're like, oh my god.
Like we talked about what it would be like to have all those amps around you and just to play.
And we're like, you go deaf, but it's probably worth it.
What a great way to go deaf. Some people fire off cannons and go deaf.
Whoa. Here's Mayor McCheese coming in hot. Amps today should all have an effects loop and should ditch included reverbs. Thoughts?
Okay.
Mayor McCheese, I love you.
Let's get one thing straight.
I'm not sure I agree. Okay, let's talk about the effects loop first.
Yep.
I'm going to say no. I think a lot of amps should. I think if it's a dirty amp, yes.
Well.
But anything with a bunch of headroom, I just don't care. I mean, you think about it, like here's okay, Two Rocks, right? They have this effects loop that I found out sort of the hard way. You gotta run something else to kind of make them work in most of those amps because they didn't want to add extra tubes, and I get that. So, you know, maybe if they're all high quality tube buffered effects loops, sure. But like I don't want like a vintage Bassman with an effects loop. I don't even know if I want a vintage Marshall with an effects loop.
How long have you? So you've been playing guitar for 20 years.
Give or take. Maybe a few more than that.
Maybe a few more. You know, roughly. Like, right? We're
20 plus years, yeah.
20 plus years of experience. How often have you used an effects loop in all that time? And amp-wise, I can go ahead and say I know you've used it on the M80 some.
I do use it pretty consistently on the M80, but that is the first and only amp I've ever used it on. I mean, but you know, because like I listed, I mostly have had like loud, clean Fender amps into the front. You know what I mean? There was no effects. Like I never used the effects loop on, and I don't think most people do on like the Hot Rod DeVille stuff that I had. You know what I mean? Like there is an effects loop on the Hot Rod series, but I don't know. I never used it.
Something. I try to use the effects loop on the M80, right? I got one that I use at the house for like recording and stuff and everything, and I ran into it, did it, and I just felt like something was slightly off.
It's a different sound.
It's totally different.
It sounds different.
I didn't even kind of reconsider how I'm using that.
The effects don't, they're even a different level. Like, and some effects loops have the volume level on them, you know what I mean? Some of them are used to get what you get.
Yeah.
But I mean, and I like the effects loop on the M80. It's too buffered. I think it's pretty high quality. I had for a while a Supro Statesman which had a weird effects loop. But I didn't like it. I didn't like the way it sounded. And it had a volume and all the stuff, and it was too buffered and everything. But I just didn't dig it.
I don't think I ever really personally have. I get why people would want that in certain amps, but to me, it never comes off in the way as actually having reverb in the signal chain.
Right.
And to me, spring reverb is the sound. Like that is like if an amp has spring reverb and it's really good, I'm gonna always have that on 3 no matter what.
Well, that is true.
No matter
let's talk about that. So okay, here's where I'm with you, Mayor McCheese. Like there was a time in my life where I was like, every amp should have reverb because I wanted reverb all the time, right? And I think you and I both had the thing where we're like, oh yeah, a good amp, the good room.
Well, who disagrees with us on this? Mr. Baxter Clement himself.
B. Clem himself.
Everything, he's like,
it's
if
gotta
it's
have
a
reverb.
Marshall, it needs reverb. If it's I'm like...
So I'm coming around to you. There's a lot of amps that I am not missing the reverb, and I don't necessarily want the reverb. Like for a while, I thought, man, a reverb M80 might be cool, but now I'm like, nah, I don't want the reverb. So...
Well, you own that amp. Whenever you're playing that amp, and if it doesn't have reverb in it, my thought is, you should be able to plug into it. This
Let it
is
ride.
almost a test that I
Rock
do with
and roll.
every amp. If no pedals, if I can go straight into that bad boy, cut it on, feel it, I'm good. I like the amp. That's how I feel about the M80.
So in that respect, but I guess the only place I slightly maybe am not 100% sure with our friend the mayor is that like a Fender style amp, I want reverb. Like a deluxe reverb, a super reverb. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like, I'm fine with the piggyback heads that don't have it. I'm fine with the basements not having it. I'm fine with like my Tremolux and my Bandmaster obviously had no reverb. So yeah, I'm fine with that.
That's funny.
Spring reverb. I mean, Sean likes crazy, weird,
I love so much other stuff too.
Millennial reverbs.
You'll be able to see. Yes, exactly.
Drown that signal.
Zillennial, whatever.
Kill it with water.
Whatever I am.
Kill it with wetness.
I love weird trippy effects too, right? And I love crazy pedals that'll give me those wild sounds. What I usually lean into though as well is plugging straight into the amp and having tone out of that because there's something, and I've always loved doing this, like in the Blues Jam kind of gets you to do that. Different things like that have gotten us to do this, right? For me at least. Showing up and having to plug into something with no pedal board, no rig, no nothing, just my guitar.
Just play.
And be like, all right, can I replicate some of this with just the amp? Like I said with my twin reverb, I used to stand on it and rock it back and forth so the springs banged, right? It would be on like 8. Yeah, it's like, thunderbolts and sound and noise and god-awfulness, and people hated me, I'm sure. But that's how I got that effect with a spring tank, In my head, I think a good spring tank. I think that's
so funny because I used to play this place in, was it Jackson, Illinois? Somewhere in Illinois. And let's just say it was like a country sort of bar, but it used to be a different kind of bar with poles and glass chandeliers made out of stuff that we won't talk about because this is a family live stream.
Phallic shaped.
Yeah. But there was the stage was this old pontoon boat that they drug in there somehow and put like AstroTurf carpet on. And it was kind of neat, but the whole thing rocked. And so like, if you brought an amp with reverb the whole time, and it was like anytime anybody moved or if you forgot and started like kind of moving around, and it was done. It was the bane of my existence. I like that place other than that because I saw all sort of neat, weird things happen while I was playing. But anyways.
You will never shut it off when it's on the amp. Reverb becomes a crutch. Now here's where I will counter you. I bought a Varsity Reverb, right? You know how I fell in love with that amp? Cutting the reverb off.
I was gonna say that's when you started saying, "Man, I'm getting over this having reverb all the time."
Yeah,
which was kind of cool.
I turn the reverb knob a lot on an amp. Like within a show, I will go back there and I will tweak it.
See, I'm not. I'm a spring reverb. Put it on where you barely can tell it's on. I've always been like put my reverb on 2 or 3, depending on the amp, right? Yep. Like not enough for an effect, just underneath, and then have a pedal for like when I want reverb is like an effect, a thing, right? To step on and off. But man, a lot of times with my Twilighter, I turn the harmonic trim on. Like I turn the intensity to where I can hear it, and then back it back off, and it does something to the clean tone. Like it makes it. I don't know, and I promise you probably, if I didn't say that, you probably wouldn't be able to hear it and be like, oh, it's the harmonic vibrato or pitch shift and vibrato zone, but I don't know. It's just cool. To me, it's part of the amp, and like having that part of the circuit, that might all be like, voodoo witchcraft. But
Ned's Donut Shop commented about a bass amp with a real spring reverb. There is one. Trainer makes one. I can't think of the model. Next Wednesday, I got it at my house. I will look at it, and I will let you know what the model of the amp is because it is a badass bass amp. I think it may have started life as a guitar amp, but somebody told me, and I say somebody, Baxter Clement told me, the secret to bass tone lies in this trainer. So I was like, okay, and he's not wrong. It's got trim in it too. It sounds badass.
William Robinson, that's funny. D-spotting, I don't remember the name of that place. It was a fair sized place, and like, God, this was like probably 10 years ago. So I don't even know if it's still there. And I was trying to remember the name. I'll think of it. If we're live streaming long enough, I'll think of it, and I'll say it if I remember. But
bring it over. We'll have some fun. Yeah, we will.
Yeah. There you go. But anyways.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't mind spring reverb.
I like the spring reverb. I mean, in a lot of Fenders, I kind of want the spring reverb.
Imagine, like, I have daydreams. We talk about this all the time. Of like, if we had, let's say, somebody makes it, you got all kinds of money and stuff like that. You can go out on the road, do crazy stuff. Part of me would want to do like some nut stuff. Like, let's say you go out on the road. I want to make you a plate reverb that sits in a wooden case that we drag from show to show, and you have this badass plate.
Just stupid for no
so
good
dumb.
reason.
Like,
why do you guys use that? There's the pedals.
Shut up.
Shut up.
Like a whole pan. And you can come over there at one point in the show, and because it'll be in this wooden case, I'll give you like one of those big gong things. You can go bam into it one time. Sound nuts, dude.
What are you gonna do?
Cracking the lightning.
It's a nut shop. There's a venue by me that was a train with a flatbed car for dancing. Yeah, I can imagine that would be rough on stage. And a lot of outside stages are that way, right? When you move around. I've wanted to try one of those UA Delverbs. I bet those pedals all sound good. Man. All those UA pedals are stupidly good sounding. The Golden, the Astra.
Great.
They're very good.
Very good. The Lion. We still haven't been able to play that.
God, we haven't tried one, but I kind of want one.
I know. I kind of want one too.
Okay, I'm going to do something stupid. You'll appreciate this. So I've been building an acoustic board, and I think the Woodrow is going on my acoustic board. I know.
Yeah, it is.
Here's why. It'll go into the DI, right? And that way, if I want to step on and play, like plug in the Gretsch for a second, I can. But when I am looping and I want my sort of like faux electric kind of sound,
Crunch. Yeah.
the Woodrow actually does. I ran my acoustic through it the other night, and I was like, whoa. Because it's this old 50s like tweed, right? So it does this weird thing. You just got to keep it cleanish. And it's actually really neat. And I'm like, okay, that's going to be, I'm not going to have an overdrive pedal on my acoustic board. I'm going to have the Woodrow.
If I had indispensable money, I would want...
What do you mean if?
If. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. Look at us.
Don't you know, Reddit says we're all rich because we're on YouTube.
We're big and rich, dude. That's us.
Which one am I, Sean? No.
I won't say what we used to say growing up whenever somebody says they're rich. I'll say it later on. Call and I will tell you.
Probably best for not to say that.
Yes, on the live stream. But if I were that way, I would play an acoustic guitar, like a cool 12-string acoustic guitar, into something nuts. Like I don't know, like I would probably blow up a Princeton show doing that. But like I would do something like that just for the sound, because it's a really cool sound until the amp blows up. Because it can't handle the bass, and you can tweak that out as much as you want, but at a certain point, like you kind of want some of that in there too.
You know.
But maybe you could get by with it on a pedal. That's what you're making me think now. Maybe I buy that Dream pedal, the Dream 65, and I run an acoustic through it and then out to a DI.
So you could totally do that.
That would be nuts, and like crank it up some on there.
I used to run my acoustic through that 59 basement all the time. Because, I mean, really technically it's bass amp, right? But I thought it sounded great. The 410s, it was just like, wow.
Well, and you saw my setup the other night. So the synth is a main part of my setup. Not the drum machine, that's like gone, and I'm not going to... That's just there for if somebody needs it, right? But I got this synth that I've been using a lot, and I've thought about just carrying an amp for just that, too. I don't know, though.
Who could
It's
know?
a tough choice.
It's tough. So what Fender amps are we buying? That's what you guys have to tell us.
Yeah.
What Fender amp does Sean need? What
Well,
Fender amp does Jonathan need?
I'll throw out a couple options, okay? Because I could be persuaded, right? And you're going to make fun of me on one of these options.
This is all hypothetical.
Yes, hypothetical.
This is all hypothetical.
You call them out, and maybe it'll happen, kind of thing.
Okay. After we do this, Man McCheese wants to talk about the rooster and the video Johnny did.
Yes,
Yes,
dude.
we could talk. Nothing is off limits here, boys. We're home.
That's right. And I think
You're
the
in a
rooster.
safe space.
I think we're pretty close with being able to fully announce what the rooster is. We'll have some more stuff to launch out in the universe here really soon.
Here they come to snuff for real. Yeah.
Exactly. I think I'm going down there tonight to finish up one of the things so that we'll be able to punch it out. But nonetheless, Fender amps, right? I'll give my 4 or 5 that I've got in my mind. Okay. Silverface Princeton, blackface Princeton, hand-wired blackface Princeton,
I'm seeing a trend.
or a Hot Rod Deluxe.
Sean loves the hot rod. I'm serious. All the amps in the shop, 2 rocks.
I play it
Magnetones.
every day.
Old Fenders, new Fenders, hand-wired Fenders. What is Sean rocking on?
Hot Rod Deluxe.
Hot Rod Deluxe. And because it sounds good.
It sounds really good. I don't know what it is. It blows my mind. The drive channel on it is really good. I don't know. And then finally, a hand-wired deluxe reverb, regular hand-wired deluxe. I don't know. I really like that amp too. It's the most expensive of all 5 of those that I just gave out, and obviously the first 3 are the same amp, pretty much, just different tastings. But yeah, what do you guys think? What should I do?
We got some votes over here. Some people are saying that you need a deluxe. I've seen
never
some
owned a
super
deluxe
reverb
reverb.
and some bassman. Our friend Kevin's on. Kevin's saying super. I mean, I really would like to have a super reverb. In some weird ways, it's sort of like the king. Cessna Bandit, you were allowed to not like Marshalls. I feel like I hated Marshalls for a long time. But part of it was I didn't get them, but part of it is I just don't,
Well,
it's not a thing.
What nobody tells you about a Marshall is you think you can get like that sound that's in your head without turning it crazy loud, and it's like I almost think certain ones they got to be.
Well, I think Marshall's stepped up their game lately. Like the JTM
Yeah.
Studio.
Now
and
hearing
like,
that thing, I was like, that's what you want.
that is a stupidly good amp. That's another one that I'm just like, oof.
The Silver Jubilee reissues.
Yeah.
Those are really good. I like the one that we got over there. Like sick.
Yeah, I mean, one of my favorite live tones I've ever had is with the 410 Bassman. The reissue, I mean, like, can't afford I feel like the Tweed ones are out of reach at this point, pretty much. It's like two rocks or more. Somebody said on there, Billy Spring reverb. Billy Strings has a TS1 or two rocks in his acoustic rig, and that kind of tracks because he goes in that jam band thing.
Whenever he's got like the glasses on and he's running around stage.
Yeah.
What a guy.
I kind of love Bill. I kind of want to be his friend.
Did you watch his Theo Von?
Not yet, but man, I won't.
Dude.
But I still, like I said,
Hey,
I want to be his friend.
Later on, after we get done with the live stream here, the next thing you got to watch, Theo Von talking to Billy Strings. It's really good. It starts off kind of rocky. You can tell they don't really know what to say to each other, and then it picks up pace.
Yeah.
Like Theo Von's like, so Tommy Emmanuel, is he good? Billy Strings goes on this whole rant about it. He's like, yes, he's the best. He's like God.
I mean, he kind of probably is.
He's amazing, It's like, oh.
Maybe she's just 90% about drugs. I would expect
Yes,
that.
it's
I feel
pretty
like
great.
his life maybe is 90% about drugs, and that's fine. Fender Supersonic. You have a
I do.
Supersonic 22.
Yeah, our lovely friend Jack lent it to me. And we have it at the Rooster, actually, where it kind of lives so that we can use it.
Let's talk about. So that was a fun video to do. Did you guys like that? Do you want to see more demos like that from the Rooster? I hope yes, because I had fun. That was really funny because me and Sean were gonna jam and write. We were messing around with this new writing some songs, and they walked in while me and Derek were setting up, and I talked a lot of junk about doing it in one take, and so I'm really glad I did. That was one take, but then I was like, oh crap, I got to do this well.
I think it came out good. It's it's a fun environment for us. I think being in there and doing that, and how. So for you, let me ask you this, because I was able to play in there, over the last few weeks in the way that it was set up that night, right?
Yep.
For you, did you feel like the presence of being on the rug on the floor like that? How did that feel as a player compared to being on the stage? Because for me, I was like, man, this feels great. This feels. I don't know. I just felt like
I like both. I just feel like that whole space is good. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and I love where we are right now, right? Like, our studio here is awesome, but it is in a studio, right? So there's something nice about feeling like you're in a room for live music. It puts you in a little different headspace, which is neat.
Yeah.
I love that you can hear it on the big speakers. And by the way, I was playing through a ToneMaster Pro on that demo. So no amps were used. No, we're going to do stuff there with the real amps and mic them up. But that was cool because I was plugged into the ToneMaster Pro, just a super reverb model, which seems to be like the thing on the ToneMaster Pro. Is every time I'm just like, oh,
Just go to that.
let's just go find an empty super reverb and just play that. But that was coming through like the house speakers there, loudish with the backing track thing, and then it didn't matter how loud it was because everything was going direct. So there's no bleed over or anything. So that was super fun, right? No headphones, no in ears, like hearing it playing like you're playing kind of live-ish. That was kind of fun.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a part of the charm to it, and then also like I said, we got some other things kind of coming up there that it's going to be a lot of fun. You'll see them released here soon, and
No blues jams.
no blues jams. But for a good reason though.
Yeah.
Like there's we're doing some cool stuff like this. I think we're doing some recorded stuff. We doing some writing stuff there. Ideally, there's going to be more casino content coming too solely from there as well. Derek's got a lot of really cool ideas that he's been working on behind the scenes for the last couple of months on it, and I think we're getting really close to those finally reaching the percolation point that they can come to fruition.
Mary McChee says the silver sky looked pretty good on me. I didn't expect that. It didn't look too dainty. I don't know. It felt kind of dainty. I will say that one feels beefier than the normal one because it's the different finish, and it's I don't know. It just seems a little more substantial to me. The silver skies always feel kind of like very dainty guitars. This one's a little more solid. And then Sean Brooks says super reverbs are great, but even the Tone Master's a pain in the ass to carry around. I agree with that. They are very awkward with the 410s. Bassman's the same way, but I wasn't using the Tone Master super reverb. I was using the Tone Master, like the pedal, like the
Tone Master Pro,
like the Fender Helix.
Yes,
but I like the Tone Master Pro. If I was gonna have to do a modeling thing, all in one, like effects and everything, that's probably the one I'd buy. And I haven't messed with the Quad Cortex, but I like the Tone Master Pro. But it's probably because I'm an old man.
Yeah. I mean, the problem with the Super Reverb, like with the Twin, I had two ways of carrying it because it's heavy. It's heavier than the Super. The Super is just awkward, right?
Yeah.
I would either pick it up like this, carry it out, in my arms, or I would do the crab walk around it and just get it to where it needs to go.
Yeah.
Because that, in a weird way, that's kind of easier. It's just to hang it.
I mean, if you
throw wheels on it.
I was gonna say, just put it in a road case.
Yeah.
Or wheel it around.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
You can ride on top
That
of it.
I got that because road cases are expensive.
Yeah.
Like the ATA, like with the lid lifts off. But I have one made by Gator, man, that you drop the amp into it, and the thing comes up like luggage, and you do it around like a dolly. You've seen that, right?
Yeah.
And then when you take it out, you can set the amp on top of it. It's a really good amp stand. Puts your amp just the feet start like waist high. That's a cool amp case that lets you carry around heavy amps. I wouldn't like fly with it or anything, but in a trailer or just going around town, pretty awesome. But yeah. No, I wouldn't put a Tone Master in a road case. I'd put a real super reverb. I probably wouldn't have a Tone Master super reverb. I would either go with the Tone Master pedal, or I would have a real super reverb.
Yeah.
I don't think I would do that.
I agree with that. Yeah, because the Tone Master amps are cool, but at a certain point, I'm like, well, if I'm spending the money, I'd kind of just rather go ahead and jump and get, bump up to that next level, which might sound stupid, but I'm like, yeah. And then if I'm gonna get something that models an amp, I might as well get something that models a few amps instead of just one.
Mary McChee says combo amps seem to be the future, or Stacks dying. Stacks have been dead to me for a long time. I've always thought combo amps traveling were more convenient. So I would say yes, but you got companies like 2 Rock and stuff who are like all about the little vertical 212 cabs, and I think people really like that look. So I don't know if they're going anywhere anytime soon. I think more people are buying the Stacks to leave at home or in their studio, not like touring. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah.
But I don't know.
I completely agree.
Our friend Woodrow, the mighty Woodrow, would absolutely say the head and cabs are.
Yes, they are very much alive.
He's here. There he is. He's somewhere.
He's coming
Where
in.
is he?
He's gonna jump out. Come on.
Tom says mini stacks are in, and I agree with that. Like I saw a video of the dude, like first live thing I've seen of a guy saying he got his baby M80 and was gigging with it, and he had it on like a little mini stack. Wow. It did look really sexy. Like I was like, oh.
Here's what I view as a mini stack too. I've been thinking about this a lot. For 410s, like we've been talking about, do you view that as like a little miniature stack of an amp in a weird way, right? Like it's a little combo mini stack. That's how I view it. Like a basement and a super is like that with 410s in there.
I do kind of think of it that way. There's something about multiple, especially 4 speakers like that gives you this swirl that you don't get you never get it with a 112. And sometimes, don't get me wrong, 112s are better in some scenarios. But I don't know. There's just this tone that like a super or a basement get. And that's why I think you don't need, I don't miss the reverb on a basement because of that kind of swirl.
Yeah.
Like on a tweed basement. And the cab is like the finger jointed like solid pine. So you get a little more resonance. It's not quite as dead as the cabs and like the blackface stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. See, Mary Cheese, 12-inch speakers will always be king. Man, I do love 12-inch speakers. There's just something different and cool about 10-inch speakers. I don't know why.
There are.
But
there's an old video of us talking about this, and you told me, you were like, don't swap the speaker in your Princeton. Try and fall in love with a 10-inch speaker, and I did. I was like, oh man, I found a whole new reason. There's like a punch to it that the 12-inch usually doesn't have because it's such a wide.
I mean, the 12 has that gorgeous, like, warm thing.
Nice,
you know what I mean?
low.
Like, it's awesome,
Yes.
right? But I don't know. The 10s have their thing in my eyes. Now, some of these little amps with like the 8-inch speakers, it's hard for me to get behind. But they record awesome.
They do.
I read something about how the microphone covers more of the like diaphragm of the speaker, and it does something when it records.
Yeah, if you, you're pulling back. You pull back 3 inches, you're gonna get a big scope of that speaker, which is kind of cool if you think. I didn't think about it that way. That's really smart. Damn.
Deluxe reverb head with built-in IR, line out, dummy load. I mean, that would be it. I mean, like that would be something I think Fender could do. That would be awesome. Like an actual, I mean, they could do it as a combo. They could just put that in the combo. If there was like a deluxe reverb IR, they'd call it that, right? With the Tone Master, like, so totally tube reverb, everything, like a 65 basically, but the technology like of the load and the line out like they have with the speaker simulation for the Tone Master stuff, that would be something I'd be interested in.
I almost think, like how we were talking about all amps should get rid of reverb, have effects loop, stuff like that. I think rather than doing any of that, I think it's smarter to have a direct line out and a dummy load and an IR set up in it. You know, like if every amp could have some version of an aux box in the back of it. That to me is something we should get to.
There's almost no reason not to do that. All right, Kevin O'Reilly. We got it. When I feel like Kevin is a man of few words. So when he speaks, we got to listen. I'm convinced the vertical stack does something cool. Princeton stack right on top of the deluxe, even just dual mono. It does, and it's funny how like that makes a difference. I mean, it's funny how even like your amp on the floor versus in a like on top of my amp case makes a difference, right? So I'm sure
with bass frequencies.
Well, my friend Tyler used to have this Mesa cab that you could turn vertical, or you could put it on its side, right, and it'd be lower. Yeah. And it sounded and I mean some of that is just perceived like where the sound's hitting you, I'm sure, right? But I don't know. We all kind of figured we liked it better vertical.
Yeah.
I mean, it just does something different. So I'm with you on that, Kevin. I think you're right.
Which also, Kevin, I just want to say that's really cool that you run that rig. That's dope. That's like the Mighty Woodrow. Same thing with you. I love that you use the big no. Right as I say his name. The fact that you use a half stack. Like I like to see variation. If you go somewhere and you see people, it's always the same thing.
I like it when people figure out like who they are as players, and then they just lean into that, right? And because it's easy to be like, man, this is so cool, and there's nothing wrong with that either, right? Like to try new things and have different things. But sometimes you get dudes and they're just like, this is what I do, and it's awesome.
Well, we were talking about that yesterday with overdrive pedals. We were talking about maybe doing something on that, and I think we should. But that's exactly right. Like, what is you? You damn right.
I mean, it'd be weird to see you with like a Princeton. I'd be like, oh God.
We should make you a card that whenever you go into bars and people tell you you're too loud, you pull out this card and it says like, Casino Guitars gives me the certified ticket to say, fuck you, I can use 412. Sorry.
Or like a volume license or something like that. That'd be hilarious.
Like something that like certifies you to play at a certain volume.
Like your concealed carry kind of thing.
Yes,
You know,
exactly.
the 007 license to kill, license to thrill, baby.
Sunglasses on.
Yeah,
He's like,
right.
excuse me, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah.
You be on your way now. You're dismissed.
And just pull it out of your like, little shirt pocket. That would kind of be amazing. Yeah, okay, I'm into that. We should start making those.
That would
and
be
sell 'em.
hilarious. Yeah. I mean, that would be kind of cool.
And you hand it to the sound guy, walks up, you just hold it up, the badge.
You got to get one of those flips down like that. You're like, have a nice night.
License to use my amp above 3.
License to crank.
License to crank.
That's
Ned,
kind of
that
good.
might be it.
That might be it.
That might be the one.
Do you have your LTC?
I love it. I think it might have to be like crank with a K.
Crank with a K. You got your
Crank.
LTK?
I'm crunk. Get
That would be
crunk.
good. That flows off tongue better. LTK. I like that.
LTK.
You got the
I don't know,
LTK.
We'll see. Well, license to shrill. Despawning. It sometimes can be shrill, especially when you lose those high-end hearing frequencies. I just think I need a little more treble. Yeah.
It's like that movie Psycho.
Honestly, I don't like the sound of any Fender amp cranks. Except super reverb, but a Deluxe M4 with a mild OD. Yeah. That's the thing. To me, the Deluxe lives in that, like, right before it really goes into overdrive, and then you push it with OD. Oh.
Let me tell you how you do it.
Oh.
You take a Silverface Princeton Reverb,
Ugh.
68 reissue, put it on 8, turn it against the wall, and you slam a chord, dude. You will feel things.
It is amazing.
I've done that so many
Tom Macy
times.
says it sounds like drug habit. It kind of does. I have not watched the new Dean Zielinski podcast, but you're the second person to mention that to me, so maybe I will. What about Tone King Imperial? I think everything Tone King I've played, I have dug. I really want to try. That's not the. Is that the Royalist is the sort of new Marshally one, right? I'd really like to try one of those. They sound awesome.
I am Tone King ignorant. I have no clue.
Well, we ended up picking up a Gremlin.
I played that. I love that. That was cool. I've yet to really get into the Tone King world.
And it's a super simple amp, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do a video on it at some point. I tried the other day on my own for my little shed, and I never got the sound. I never was happy with the sound, so I trashed it. But I will. Maybe I'll do one here. Make Derek let me do the thing where I put it on the desk, and he mics it and makes it sound good. But yeah, so yeah.
I like what I'm hearing.
Anyways.
Well.
All right, we've reached our done our obligatory hour of live stream. Just kidding.
No.
I would sit here all day and do this if
I know.
if Baxter didn't make us do
Actual stuff.
actual
work.
junk.
Ugh.
When are we gonna get like little like worker bees and we just play on YouTube all day and they do real work?
Never.
I love how people come to the shop. This is funny. They're like, "Oh my God, you guys answer the phone! Oh wow, I didn't expect you to be in the shop." Well, we're in the shop because if we're not,
No one
else.
That's
so
right.
come on down and see
Come
us
on
at
down.
Casino Guitars. We're probably Sean's here like every day, all the time.
We have
No.
fun. It's good. You'll see me bouncing around.
yeah,
If
we're
you
here.
don't see me in the shop, and I always think it's funny when people come
He's
in.
next door.
I haven't seen you forever. I'm like, trust me, I'm here. Don't worry. That's right. But
So yeah,
come on down, hang out, say what's up.
it is your shop. I mean, sorta is our shop. I'm employed by
Is
the shop.
Yeah, I know. It's like, hey.
Yeah.
Some employees will say they're co-owners. I don't get down with that. None of those people are in this room. That's all I'll say.
Do people ever play the Casino Guitars theme when they're demoing gear? That'd be great if they did.
That would
We
be.
should have a contest for people.
We
to do
should.
Our intro.
Did
with their
you?
band.
Did you played that? Didn't you, Derek?
I can't remember how I came about that.
I
I think I made that in GarageBand.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think you made the whole track. Like Derek played all that guitar on there and
Yeah,
stuff.
dude.
So if people come in and start playing it, we're gonna have to film that. That would be awesome.
Sean says, doesn't Baxter actually live there? Yes, he sleeps on a little pallet on top of 2 rocks. But no, he essentially, he does, yes.
He never leaves. He's always there.
It's like the Hotel California.
You can check out anytime you'd like.
So, there you go. Ned, Casino Guitars heckler. I like it. That would be a very expensive bed. You could get yourself a sleep number bed for that kind of money,
You could.
you know?
That's an expensive bed.
God, but that could be our next marathon. Derek said we're never doing a marathon again. That was
Dude.
hell.
It was. I think we just can't do it. Like I could do a live stream. Like the day we did the top 250 guitar players list.
If we did it, we'd have to do it that way.
I think all of us could agree. We could do that all day long. I could go 24 hours.
Especially when you guys are paying us to drink stuff.
Yes.
But
I could not do the Wonderwall thing. What sucked is also the people. Like we started off like trying to like throw them off and stuff, right? And then after a while, like I think hour 2 to 3, we were like, man, we feel bad for the people. We're like, okay, let's like get water.
I didn't feel bad for them. Screw them. That's what I say. You want a free guitar, you got to work. Yeah, Tom's like, why should I try? I would say that the problem was we had multiple cameras and they all had 8 hours of footage on them that Derek had to sit through, which that's what's like as bad as I felt for us. He had to deal with it for like 2 weeks after that. So that was it.
Funny seeing him edit down the content and Baxter's like, oh, is it done yet? Is it done? Like he knew it would not get
like the next day. Did you get it? Is it edited? Yeah, it's fine. It's great. It's ready to go.
Derek's perpetual living hell. 8.5 hours of footage. Just like
times 3 or 4.
I remember whenever it was rendering, he like hooked up all the hard drives to his computer, and we just walked away. We were like, "It's gonna take
be ready in a year."
Yes.
No, but we could do a live stream one. You know, a live stream one would be pretty fun. And then you really would have no idea. Like, wow, who knows? Who knows what would happen? But anyways.
Yeah. We'll come up with like not a marathon stream, but like maybe some longer streams later on. We've talked about doing that. We gotta find some cool stuff and. You know,
we should figure out a cool way to do some contests. Like somebody mentioned the old Uncle Larry's string bending contest on here. Like we could do some things like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, we just gotta do it.
Yeah.
But anyways, that was fun. Uncle Larry's. I was hoping I'd get an honorable mention in that one, but I didn't. I didn't make the cut. One day. Anyways, thank you guys for hanging out with us. I think we're done. Go watch the newest videos. Go watch the Silver Sky Dead Spec demo from the Rooster if you want to see it. Get a sneak peek of what's happening there, and
prepare for more awesome, cool stuff.
Awesome and cool.
Awesome and cool and dope.
Crunk.
Cranked.
Yeah. Hit the old, not the bell. You're going to say the bell. I'm going to say like and subscribe. I get confused when it's me and you, not me and Baxter.
And hit the ringer.
No, hit the ringer. Hit it. Like.
I'm going to start saying it wrong in the other videos because like I feel like our live stream guys, like you guys are like special. Like I love all you guys. And our other videos though, I'm going to say hit the dinger or hit the ringer, like something different every time.
Hit that dinger with a bell. Hit what? What? I don't know.
And let everybody just get pissed in the comments and be like, "It's bell, idiot." It's like, is it? Oh my gosh!
Time to go blow lines up, crushed up nitro. That makes me really happy. It's better than teeth.
That is what we do.
We were talking about teeth the other day, doing teeth. Anyways, yeah. Whatever. All right. Goodbye. See you later.